Hey everybody, Dog8798 here. This is my review of the American webcam review of the American Street Fighter 1995 cartoon, which aired from 1995 to 1997 on the USA Cartoon Express network and lasted all the way up until USA got rid of their cartoon blocks. This show, of course, aired back to back with the Mortal Kombat Defenders of Earthrealm cartoon. I saw this cartoon briefly in 1997, and I've been a huge fan of it ever since. And I think this cartoon is criminally underrated. This cartoon was produced by Capcom in cooperation with a company I think called Envision Entertainment and Madhouse. This cartoon, of course, is based on the Street Fighter video game series, but also takes several elements from the Street Fighter live-action film starring Jean-Claude Van Damme and Raul Julia. In my opinion, like I keep saying, I think this cartoon right here was the best Street Fighter adaptation outside the video games besides the comics. I think this was the best adaptation of Street Fighter. It captured the spirit of the games, actually followed the games, while also expanding the story and being its own thing. And I feel this cartoon is criminally underrated. Most people just laugh at this cartoon, which you should, because this cartoon was hilarious and funny. But I think it's way better. I think this cartoon was way better than what people give it credit for. The animation is superb. It gets even better in season 2. The artwork, of course, is always awesome. It becomes even edgier in season 2, and all the characters look just like their Street Fighter 2 counterparts, except for Ken in season 2. In season 2, he gets I think orange or brown hair. Orange or brown hair versus his yellow hair he has in Street Fight in the first season, and like I said, the animation was great despite the obvious budget. You can obviously see the budget of the anime. You can obviously see the budget when it comes to the fight scenes. They couldn't have the fluent fight scenes, intense fluent fight scenes the Japanese animated versions of Street Fighter had. This one is similar to X-Men, which also had expensive and awesome artwork and animation, but it was cheap when it came to the fight scenes, even though X-Men, their fight scenes got better when it came along. This cartoon, of course, is similar to G.I. Joe and the X-Men animated series. I think some of the writers from the X-Men animated series worked on this cartoon. And this cartoon, of course, is like I said, this cartoon, of course, one thing I love about this cartoon is that not only does it follow the games with Street Fighter, in almost every episode, it always starts off with the characters inside a Street Fighter tournament, in a Street Fighter match or tournament, thus becoming staying true to the whole theme of the video game, street fighting. But it also is more than just fighting. It's more than just fighting. There are other subplots too, like in one episode, Guile and them has to stop Bison from spreading a virus that could kill everyone. This show, they focus on each character, even though Guile is the main character and lead character, just like in the live action film. And going back to staying true to the games, it takes several things from Street Fighter 2, the video games, and Street Fighter Alpha, which was out at the time. In one scene where Blanca is transformed back into his human form, Charlie is wearing the same outfit as his Street Fighter Alpha counterpart. Then I love in episode 25, one of my favorite episodes, they incorporated Guy, Cody, Mike Hager, and Saddam and Roland Toe from Final Fight, and this episode was remarkably true to the Final Fight video games, even to the main boss character in the wheelchair. Of course, voice acting, of course, is superb. You got the Ocean Dub cast in here. You got actors like Michael Donovan as Guile, Scott McNeil as Ken, and so many awesome other voice actors. Can't go wrong with the Ocean voice acting cast. One of the best voice acting team of cast of people of all time. Then of course, I love the the intro theme sounds just like a animated version of the video game arcade theme, and the outro theme is a slower version of that theme, and the game also remains true to the character's special moves. Guile and them, they use special Sonic Boom. Bison uses his Psycho Crusher. Ryu and Ken use their Hadouken, and of course Chun-Li does her her spinning ballerina type kick, and Cammy does her spinning corkscrew kick, and all her other moves she does in the game. Game. Like I said, the only problems the only problems I have with this cartoon is Ryu, and while he's remarkably true to himself, besides being a con man, he's much weaker in this cartoon than he is in the video games. In one of my favorite episodes, the Grandmaster, which is one of my favorite, one of the best episodes, when him and Ken face off with Akuma, Ryu was seen to be weaker and Ken was always superior, and Ken was the one who defeated Akuma. If you play the Street Fighter games, that can't happen. That's not true. And of course, Balrog. While they finally got it right, they put DJ with the good guys and had him as a fighter, and they put Balrog with Shadaloo. Balrog really didn't do much this series. He was mostly in one comical scene, typing with boxing gloves on. Which reminds me, I also love this cartoon. I don't understand how anyone can hate this cartoon. This cartoon, not only is it action-packed, it's hilarious, and that's what, in my opinion, cartoons should be. It should be action-packed and hilarious. Guile with his Bison! In the first episode, you see him raise his hand in the air and he says Bison, and some flames rise up behind him. And then in another episode, in one of the more popular episodes, the Spiritual Medium, I think that's what it was called, the episode where the Street Fighter characters are fighting in a tournament, and Guile and of course Bison creates some mutant fighters to fight the Street Fighters, and has the town people, and frames the Street Fighters by showing holograms of themselves destroying public property, and making the townspeople hate them. And when Guile and them are getting beat up by the mutants, Bison is like, yes, 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 and the music, the dramatic French ballet music is playing in the background. Oh my God, that was just hilarious. Then another funny joke was Ryu and Ken in the first episode, where Ryu gets run over by a pig and covered in mud, and Ryu says, "I've just been slimed by Arnold the pig. That's it. I am out of here." The way he said it was funny. Then another episode which introduced the Street Fighter Alpha character Sakura, Ryu squares off against Sagat and gives him his signature scar, and the way he did it was awkward and cheesy and hilarious. Ryu hits him with the Shoryuken. He says, "Alright, Sagat, it's time for a new champion." And Sagat is like, "Ryu, you scarred me for life." And speaking of Sagat, another signature catchphrase when he talks about a kid, "Hey, you like cornflakes?" Man. And another funny hidden joke was in one episode. Bison was fighting one of the Delta Red members. That's from Cammy's team. The guy, he has Bison with his butt stuck in the air, and him behind him, he says, "Bison, now it's your turn to be on the receiving end of this." Man, the jokes, man, the hidden references from that references right there, and there were so many jokes and hidden references like that. I like how, despite this show is being marketed towards kids and was watered down for kids, it doesn't shy away from violence. At the end, Bison appears to die by getting eaten by his own computer, and it is very complex and features strong writing and does focus on the writing. So I like how, like I said, while it's a show for kids, it doesn't completely water it down for kids. But well, this is my review of well, before I started, and I like how, once again, they incorporated the entire cast of characters. They had Ryu, Ken, Guile, Chun-Li, Cammy, DJ, E Honda, Fei Long. Yes, Fei Long was here instead of Captain Sawada in the live action film. T-Hawk, 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 I think I said Zangief and Blanca, Balrog, and even characters from the Final Fight series like Roland Toe, Guy, Cody, Hager, even the main boss of that game, Roland Toe, Saddam, and of course Birdie and Aiden appear as unnamed Street Fighter characters in several episodes. So I love how they incorporated pretty much all the cast of Street Fighter characters. I wish they could have continued. They could have adapted more from Street Fighter Alpha series, like Cody's prison uniform when he gets put in jail. They could have adapted the Street Fighter 3, and then the whole Street. I would love to see an adaptation of Street Fighter 3, because that's the only one that's never really been adapted outside the games. Then, of course, a cool adaptation of Street Fighter 4 with characters like Rufus. Yeah, like I said, this cartoon, it ran for 26 episodes and was canceled when USA got rid of their cartoon block. This was my episode. This was before I finish, one more thing. This show, one other thing I love. This show is set in the same universe as the Mortal Kombat Defenders of Earthrealm cartoon. I had always wanted a crossover with the Street Fighter characters, and the Mortal Kombat characters, a crossover with those franchises, and it almost happened here. But once again, USA got rid of its cartoon channel block, ending both of those shows. Like I said, this show was right here was awesome. It's one of my all-time favorite shows, and it's way better than what people give it credit for. This right here was my review of the Street Fighter animated series. Gonna be doing more videos talking about this series. Alright, Dugout.